A little FYI for you before I begin this lesson. I had cataract surgery this past Thursday, and so if I wink one eye, I can see you. If I wink the other one, I can't see much of anything. And my brain hasn't teamed together very well, so that about this distance right here, I'm really having difficulty. So if I wink at you, I may or may not be flirting with you, okay? I did bring a pair of readers, which don't help much, but just in case things go completely awry, then you'll see me make a change here. But in the fall of 1991, the Andrea Gale slipped out of the harbor in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and it headed for the open seas of the North Atlantic, as she had done so many times before. But this trip is going to be different, because although the crew could not have ever known this sword fishing boat would not return. Because, unbeknownst to the crew, far over the horizon, the storm clouds were massively gathering from all directions. A few hundred miles east of Nova Scotia, a cold front was developing with such strong upper air support that it created a tropical super cyclone. And off to the south, off the coast of Florida, Hurricane Grace suddenly veered off its northwestward course and made a hairpin turn toward the east. Meanwhile, a high-pressure center that extended from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up through the Appalachians into Greenland was also whipping up high winds. And when these three colossal weather systems converged in the chilly waters off of Newfoundland, then they created the storm of the century, a monstrosity that produced high tides and enormous destruction all along the beaches of the eastern seaboard. Meanwhile, out in the North Atlantic, the Andrea Gale was soon helplessly bobbing along in water whipped up by powerful wind that has been estimated to have been in excess of 100 miles an hour. She was facing waves over 100 feet tall. If you can imagine, I don't know what it is from the floor to our ceiling here, but probably 4 to 5 times waves, 4 to 5 times as high as from the floor to the ceiling. If you can imagine being out in the open sea facing waves much higher than our ceiling. Years later, when Sebastian Junger wrote his best-selling book about the fate of the Andrea Gale, he used the title for his book that had first been given by the National Weather Service. Because everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong, the National Weather Service called it the perfect storm. And since the debut of the book and the subsequent film that followed, the ominous phrase has entered our vocabulary to describe a catastrophic event that is clearly coming, but which we are seemingly powerless to avoid. We see it coming, but we can't do anything about it. But I want us to consider another